Hey everyone. Please support what I do to help keep Greyhawk alive by subscribing to the channel. Also, please consider becoming a channel member to get early access to videos, exclusive live chats, quarterly adventure modules, and more. Thanks, and enjoy the show. So I was thinking that we don't see a certain type of adventure in the world of Greyhawk all that often. Epic quests. And I want to talk about it today on Greyhawk Grognard. So when I say epic quests, I'm talking about, globe-spanning adventures or continent-spanning adventures in the case of the Flyness, where the stakes are immeasurably high. The bad guys are going to like conquer or destroy the world. Something like that. That is the kind of thing I'm talking about. It doesn't even have to be high level, although it can go from low to high. You can be in mid-level, whatever. But I'm talking about these grand quests like you see in um, Dragonlance, that sort of level of thing where there's like the fate of the world is at stake, and the player characters are going, they're roaming all around the continent to try and find out what the evil guys are doing and stop them and build up resources and things like that. And it's a style of play that you don't really see in the world of Greyhawk. You almost get it in Theta Vistas, which is to be quite honest, not a very great module, which is a problem. Um, but you kind of get it, but it's not. You don't really get a sense that you're participating in a unified quest all the way through. I mean, there are unified characters that you're going against, but they're in disguise, and you don't really know it. And you're not, you don't really know what the quest is until the very end. There's no real stakes that you're aware of. They're there, but they're kind of hidden behind the scenes, and it was all very gimmicky with the transition from first to second edition. But that's the kind of thing where it's going from this city over here to this city over there to this city over here. You kind of get that epic scale, but you don't really get the epic stakes. And some of the other more classic modules have the reverse problem, where it's got epic stakes, but the scale is very small. So, for example, the best, the famous one, the Giants and Drow series. The stakes are immense. The giants are going to overrun humanity and so forth, but it's very limited in scope. It's only in Sterich. It's only in the western Sheldamar Valley. So you have these large stakes, and Lolth is going to could invade and so forth. But it's relatively local. It all takes place in the in those mountains off to the west, and you're never going Kaolan. You're never going into Kaolan for that matter. It's all on the periphery of the Flyness in this one little isolated pocket. Same thing with Temple of Elemental Evil. There are there are stakes, but they're not really world shattering stakes. Having Zuktmoy released is awful, but it's not gonna, she's not gonna immediately turn around and conquer the world. So you don't those stakes. Plus, it's also very, very limited in terms of scope. You don't go anywhere outside of the Cron Hills and the gnarly forest. So I can't really think of an adventure series in Greyhawk that does that. That has both this enormous scope, geographically, as well as enormous stakes in terms of what the PCs could lose, or what the world could lose if the PCs fail. There's a little bit of it in Five Shall Be One. The swords thing where Ayuz is impersonating Vatun, and there's that uh, uh, two adventure series up there. But again, that's the stakes are pretty high because it's going to let Ayuz conquer most of the northern Flyness, but it's all very self-contained in this one little area. So you don't get that 1-2 punch that would make things really truly epic. Um, Now it's also fair to say that in order to have this kind of adventure where you're going across great distances as well as having great stakes, you can't help but have it be a little railroady. because in order to have that great scope and scale, you necessarily have to plan things out, and that means that you've got to that the PCs better be prepared to go from point A to point B to point C, and you've got to make sure that they get there. It would be possible to design something like this as kind of like a web, almost an abstract hex crawl, where the PCs start here and they get a number of clues, and they could go to, they start in point A, they could go to B, C, or D, and then from here they could go to this, or this, and then from here they could go to a couple of those. There would be a way to kind of design it out and very cleverly, so that eventually the characters have a lot of choice, and then the choices narrow to the big thing at the end. But again, ultimately, you're determining that they have to end up, at the end point. Um, to have the final epic confrontation with evil, because that in this kind of uh, adventure, that that epic showdown with the big bad guy is kind of, what you want. That's like the most satisfying moment out of an adventure like this. But like, famously, Dragonlance is very railroady. It's in the modules, the original modules. If a character dies, they just come back for the next adventure because they're needed in the next adventure. That kind of thing. So it's there's that downside to it. But if it's done right, it can be a very satisfying, very cool way to do things. And in the world of Greyhawk, you could set something up. Bayous is the biggest um, example of a great opportunity to do something like that, because I use rules everything from over here to over here pretty much in the finesse. So you can have that kind of scope and scale. You could have agents. So you'd be fighting agents of Ayus in Furiondi, and then over here, and you could do a lot of things, and then the epic big showdown with the Lord of Evil, and the stakes are, you could liberate the entire North, and end the threat from Ayus, to give the good kingdoms in the Central Finesse, peace, and so forth. That could be a really epic story. Another opportunity could be the Scarlet Brotherhood, because they're down here, but they're also down here. They have conquered a lot of these areas down here. There's a lot of and plus they have agents just freaking everywhere. That's what they're known for. Is the Scarlet Advisors are in every court. You could have this globe trotting kind of adventure, and then the stakes are that this huge evil Hydra-like organization is finally defeated and undone. There's opportunities to do this kind of adventure in the world of Greyhawk. You could probably do something along the lines, of demonic cults and so forth. A great example of this is actually in Gary Gygax's Gore the Rogue books. That is literally a plane hopping adventure, with the stakes being the ultimate stakes of the multiverse itself is going to be destroyed if Tharizdun is allowed to escape and fulfill his plan, and Gord has to stop him. Um, so you could do something like that, maybe on a little smaller scale. Um, uh, if you don't want to have to do all these things in other continents and on Earth, and so forth. Um, there's opportunities there where you could have this global cult doing things. You could do something with the Elder Elemental God. Maybe there are shrines here and there, here and there and everywhere along the Floness, and you have to go from one to the other to collect things, collect bits and pieces of maybe of the shattered Elder Elemental God himself, and then go to Lolth's prison plane and free him, and that has that could turn the original intent of the Dro series, um, back to its original thing, kind of like what I did with my Q2 module. But you could, rather than having it focused more on the southwestern Floness, you could have it be a more continent spanning adventure, to end up there. Yeah, so there's a couple of different opportunities to do this sort of thing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you ever done it? done something like this, it's kind of easy to do this in a homebrew campaign, because you as the DM can, as things evolve, you can turn what was a regular adventure into this kind of epic scale adventure. But have you ever done anything like this in your campaign? What are some other examples of this sort of thing that you might think would be worthy of it? And am I forgetting anything? Has there actually been an adventure series that is huge in scope and huge in stakes that I'm just forgetting? Do let me know what you think in the comments. I'm recording this a couple days before Christmas. Most of you will see it after New Year's, but just to have a wonderful. Hope you had a wonderful holiday, or will have for my Patreons and channel members who are seeing it early. And hope you have a wonderful New Year. And I will talk to you in 2024. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.